U.S. President Donald Trump's return to office has been marked by a renewed emphasis on tariffs as the centerpiece of his economic and foreign policy. In his second term, Trump has not only revived earlier trade battles, but escalated them dramatically, reshaping U.S. relations with allies, partners, and rivals alike. While the tariffs are framed as a way to protect American workers and punish adversaries, the policy's ripple effects have triggered economic shocks, strategic realignments, and growing unease about Washington's reliability. Trump has long argued that free trade deals disadvantage American manufacturers and workers. During his first term, he withdrew from the Trans-Pacific Partnership and imposed tariffs on China, Europe, and even close allies like Canada and Mexico. In his second term, however, the scale and scope of tariffs have expanded dramatically. By mid-2025, sweeping duties were placed not only on China, but also on key U.S. partners such as India, South Korea, Japan, and several European states. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes how tariffs will adversely impact U.S. geostrategic position. Before we proceed, a word on NordVPN, which is one of the most trusted and fastest VPN brand that has a no-log policy validated by Deloitte. NordVPN provides a 256-bit encrypted tunnel that protects your privacy and also enables you to access contents that are blocked based on geolocation. Its threat protection system helps you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. NordVPN application is available for all the major platforms as well as browsers. Get an exclusive NordVPN deal with massive saving by going to nordvpn.com/defense or clicking the link in the description. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Tariffs are set to hamper U.S. weapons sales. Spain has withdrawn from its planned F-35 acquisition, instead committing 10.5 billion euros toward European alternatives such as the Eurofighter Typhoon and the Franco-German Future Combat Air System FCAS. Defense analysts caution that Spain's exit, combined with similar hesitation from other nations, threatens the global economics of the F-35 program, potentially driving up per-unit costs as foreign demand shrinks. Switzerland's $7.38 billion deal for 36 F-35 jets has also come under political fire after U.S. tariffs of nearly 39% on Swiss exports raised the projected cost of the contract by more than $1.6 billion. Swiss lawmakers across party lines have criticized the deal, with some urging cancellation or renegotiation. A parliamentary debate is ongoing, and a final decision is expected later this year. Should Switzerland scale back or abandon the deal, it would mark another blow to the U.S. defense export market and reinforce the trend of allies questioning their reliance on American arms. In Asia, India has put several major U.S. arms purchases on hold. Deals affected include Stryker combat vehicles, Javelin anti-tank missiles, and a $3.6 billion order for Boeing P-8I maritime patrol aircraft. While India's defense ministry dismissed reports of an official pause, the freeze coincided with the cancellation of a high-level defense visit to Washington. India was also offered the F-35, and any progress on that seems very unlikely. Beyond individual contracts, U.S. tariffs are accelerating a broader trend among allies towards strategic autonomy. European states are increasingly promoting a Buy European policy to reduce dependence on U.S. suppliers, with a 150 billion euro defense initiative now explicitly excluding American firms. Countries like Portugal and Canada are quietly reassessing future F-35 procurement and long-term reliance on U.S. platforms amid concerns over tariffs, software access, and parts availability. This push toward diversification not only strengthens European defense industry capacity, but also signals a long-term erosion of U.S. defense market dominance among its closest allies. When it comes to long-term considerations, rise of communist China is the key threat for the United States. India, which has border issues with China, is a mature democracy and has one of the most powerful militaries with nukes, is a natural ally. Over the last 2 decades, U.S. policymakers have tried to bring the country closer to the West, and it has been mostly a win-win situation. In August 2025, the Trump administration imposed a 25% reciprocal tariff on Indian goods, followed by an additional 25% penalty tied to India's acquisition of Russian oil, bringing total U.S. duties to 50% on Indian exports. These tariffs, among the highest U.S. has ever levied on a trading partner, targeted labor-intensive industries like textiles, gems, leather, and chemicals, triggering steep economic repercussions for Indian exporters and contributing to currency depreciation and stock market volatility. The tariffs disrupted 5 rounds of trade talks and is seen as a turning point in bilateral ties, marking one of the lowest points in 25 years. Certain statements like "dead economy" by President Trump and terming of conflict in Ukraine as Modi's war by White House trade advisor Peter Navarro seems to have completely alienated India. PM Modi landed in China after 7 years to attend Shanghai Cooperation Organization (SCO) summit and held meeting with Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, and other leaders. It is evident that tariffs are driving the country away from U.S. and closer to Russia and China. Tariffs have produced profound diplomatic consequences. Allies that once cooperated closely with Washington on defense and security now question whether the U.S. can be relied upon as a stable partner. Unilateral and unpredictable U.S. economic measures are hurting America's standing as a reliable ally. As Philip Luck of CSIS warns, frequent, capricious enforcement of economic tools like International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA, undermines long-term credibility, making allies wary and reducing U.S. leverage in future negotiations. This credibility gap extends beyond trade policy. It erodes confidence in U.S.-led military and strategic cooperation. According to the Council on Foreign Relations, polling across 29 countries, many treaty allies, shows that global perceptions of the U.S. have deteriorated due to these economic policies. For the first time in a decade, China is viewed more positively than the United States in terms of Global Influence Council on Foreign Relations. This shift is not just rhetorical, it fuels political momentum for strategic autonomy. For instance, European leaders like Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Merz are advocating for reducing reliance on U.S. cloud services, satellites, etc. European allies are interpreting U.S. tariff actions as a betrayal of decades of shared norms and cooperation. The Washington Post captures this sense of disillusionment, with Europe openly questioning the future of NATO and expressing frustration over economic aggression. In Asia, Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, and Australia are increasingly unsettled. The unpredictability from trade policies and tariff threats feeds anxiety about long-term U.S. commitment. For example, Taiwan fears that shifting U.S. priorities could leave it vulnerable to Chinese threats.